episode of Dark Girl Chronicles. I got back into town finally, and I decided I was going to do another video because I said I was going to. Previous episode, you guys got to meet my boyfriend finally on camera. I have to apologize now, just in case if you haven't seen the video, or if you have seen it, that particular episode, he is much more animated than he was on camera. He was nervous, and he said as much on camera, but he was nervous, and I'm not sure why, because he's like the least nervous person that I have ever met on camera. Like anything else that we do on camera, he's like, woohoo, I'm gonna be all over the place. And I'm like, what in the world? So I just kind of give him that look most of the time. But, he's a really sweet person. And, he is, yeah. So, he is in fact, my best friend, and has been my best friend for a long time. He was there for me, as my friend, long before we decided we were going to start dating and, like, see each other like that. And it kind of evolved organically, I guess you could say. Because we started out as friends, like, really good friends, and, it was one of those cliche, hey, I've kind of been thinking about my friend this way. That's weird. Except that I was married when that happened, and so, I waited until after I was already separated, and, you know, I knew I was going to go through the process of divorce before I was like, hey, I like you. As a matter of fact, I didn't even really, like, straight up tell him how I felt about him until I had already, had the discussion with my ex-husband about we should get a divorce. And I wasn't the one who even initiated the conversation about divorce. It was actually my ex. So, yeah. It was kind of weird, but, yeah. He's confused. I don't know why he said, when I asked him how long had we been together, why he was like last year, because it wasn't last year. My divorce wasn't final until the beginning of this year, 2013. And he was the one that was insistent that I get a divorce first before he would even talk about dating me. So, yeah, I don't know why he said on camera last year, because that's not true. We were not together since last year. Our actual start date, like, if you want to give it a label and call it that, the actual date that we started, like, seriously dating was April 15th, 2013. So, yeah, I don't know where he got last year from, because it's not 2014 yet. So, but yeah, I was super excited I got him on camera finally. I don't know, he might be in some episodes later. It just depends on how he feels about being on camera. He's usually game for that sort of thing, so yeah, I might get him on camera and we'll talk about stuff. So, also, I would have done an episode yesterday, but I just wasn't in the mood to. And even right now, I'm kind of sort of tired, and I don't really feel like doing much of anything. I just got off from work, and so I'm at home. But, yesterday was Halloween, and, it was also, it would have marked 9 years that I was married. It would have been my 9th wedding anniversary had we not gotten a divorce. And surprisingly, I thought I would be a little worse, but I'm actually really good about it. Like, I'm not super angry about it anymore. I'm still angry. And let me tell you something. Fatty's gonna be angry probably for the rest of her life about that one. Like, I'm probably going to be super angry about it for the rest of my life. Like, I hate my ex-husband. There's no other way of getting around that. And not just because he's my ex-husband. You know, it's not just because he's my ex. It's because of the way he decided to end things. That is what makes me angry. And what really, really, really makes me mad. And contributes to the lingering bitterness. But I was okay with it. Yesterday, I did pretty well. I actually went to work. And the year before that, when we were actually still married on paper, and we were getting ready to go through the divorce and all, I went to work. Because the previous 7 years, I'd taken the day off. But this year, I did really well, and I felt much, much better. I was nowhere near as sad and depressed about it, which tells me I'm getting over it. I just, I remember what yesterday stood for, once upon a time, and it is saddening to realize that, you know, it was a sham, and while I may have believed in it, the other person did not, and didn't care what it really stood for. It was just another day to them. Yeah. There are very few wedding anniversaries that we actually marked and celebrated together that actually were worth a damn. As far as I know, none of the years we were together did I actually get a real gift. Or got my gift on our wedding anniversary. My grandfather died on my first wedding anniversary. So it's been like 8 years since my grandfather died. I'm trying to think. I mean, most of them weren't really good. Like, one year, he was sick. My ex-husband was sick. And we stayed at home and in bed. And it was like, really? Okay. So, I'm trying to think. I can't really think of a year where it was actually, good. Except for the first, like, when we got married. Our wedding day was pretty, I'm really trying hard to think of a year where it was actually really good. One year we did go to dinner. We went to dinner. And it was nice. But that was about it. Yeah. That was about it. I mean, really, our wedding day was pretty fun. Now, I remember our wedding day was pretty fun. I actually was on time for my wedding, which is unusual because I'm never on time for anything. But my mom was like, yeah, you're going to be on time for your wedding, so I think you need to get ready now. I remember I got up super early while he was still asleep, and I got up and got my stuff together, and I met my friend, and we went over to the place where we got married. We got married at a woodland and nature preserve in Spartanburg, South Carolina. It was really pretty. It was gorgeous. Really gorgeous and beautiful for the fall. It had leaves everywhere, and it was so pretty. My dress was pink. And actually yesterday I wore my dress for the first time in like 3 years. I dressed as a bride from Kill Bill. And so I used my dress, and I have my katana that you guys have seen on camera. I used my katana and took a whole bunch of photos. Which you can see at my portfolio. I'm going to put them up eventually. They're going to be at my portfolio at gaminginsurrection.com/darkgirl. DARKGIRL, which is also where you can see this video. Because I'm going to link it once I upload it. And anyway, yeah, my wedding day was really nice. We got married at 11 o'clock. I wrote my own vows. He claimed he wrote his, and then left him in the hotel room where my parents were staying. But yeah, something tells me he didn't actually write them. That should have been the first clue. Um, our I'm trying to think, what did we do? Our best man was the guy who set us up. I'm trying to think. My maid of honor was a gal I used to work with who was really a friend at the time. And she had encouraged our relationship. And by encouraged, I mean she was like, you should go out on a date with him. He seems like a really nice guy. You should do it. And I'm like, oh God, really? Should I go out with him? Yeah. Yeah, that was about it. I bought all my stuff. My dress was $150 from David's Bridal. I bought a bridesmaid's dress, a pink bridesmaid's dress. I got my bouquet. I made my headpiece. I got my bouquet from Walmart. I found some silk flowers in Walmart that I liked, and it was an actual bouquet. So I used that, and I bought a garter belt, like a garter thing to go around, so I could give it away when at the ceremony and whatever. We had brunch. And a lady from work actually did the ceremony for us. Lady I used to work with, she was Catholic at the time. She's now a Jehovah's Witness, which is kind of weird, but it's people change their religion. That's perfectly fine. But she said a few things in Spanish, which was really nice. And I actually knew what she was saying because I took Spanish in high school, so I could follow along pretty well. And I had short hair when I got married. I didn't wear a piece or anything. I just wore my short hair and curled it. I'd washed it and curled it the night before. And it went really fast. It took about 15 minutes, and then we went to brunch at the Marriott, and it was super, super nice. I've described that before on camera, so, but yeah, it was a really nice wedding ceremony, and it was, I wasn't expecting a whole lot, so basically we eloped, and we had planned, or at least I had planned, later on when we, had been married for a while, that we were gonna have like a big reception and have a party, and everyone come to it, and now it's kind of like, yeah, glad I didn't waste my money. We had said when we first got married, we'd wait 5 years before we had children, and we did. We waited 5 years, and by that point, because I knew by that point I would probably be ready to have kids, because I didn't want kids when we first got married. I was too young. I was 23 when we got married, and I was like, yeah, I'm too young for kids right now. I don't have the patience required to deal with children. I love them, but I don't have the patience to deal with them. So we wound up not having children. We waited 5 years, and on our 5th wedding anniversary, which was in 2009. Yeah, it was 2009. I was 28 at that point, and I was like, well, hey, what do you think about that 5-year plan that we said? And he was all like, okay. So, after that, we tried to get pregnant. We actually tried to get pregnant before that, but, I never could get pregnant, which was weird. That was kind of weird, and I like to think of it now as God trying to tell me something, as in, look, bitch, you are not going to have children with this man. Do not have children with this man. There is a reason why you can't get pregnant. So don't bother trying to have kids. So, the 3 times that I tried it, I kept trying, and I didn't understand at that point, why I shouldn't have had, been trying to have children. But every time I would try, seriously, to get pregnant, twice that I know of, I just knew I was pregnant. I just knew I was so pregnant. And yeah, I wasn't pregnant. I could not get pregnant. The first time we tried, I remember the first time we tried was in like 2007. It's like 2007. And I had just had cryosurgery. And of course, everything was completely out of whack and wasn't working, and for me at least. And so I had just had surgery, and it was just healed, and could resume sexual sexual intercourse. And yeah, couldn't it didn't take. And I thought I was pregnant, but no. Took a pregnancy test, came back negative. So we waited another year, tried again. Still nothing. And then we tried one more time after that. No, I take that back. We tried twice. We waited more than a year. We tried twice. We tried once. We tried 2 years after that. And in 2009, right after our wedding anniversary, and I wasn't pregnant. And I just knew I was pregnant, but I wasn't pregnant. Took a pregnancy test, came back negative. And then the third time I tried to get pregnant, it definitely didn't work. Because my lady visitor showed up about the time it was supposed to. And we had tried, I guess we were just out of the time frame for me to get pregnant. There's a very specific time that you can really try and be successful, and yeah. So, yeah, the gist of it is, I tried 3 times majorly to get pregnant, and just could not get pregnant. And it was probably for the best, because let me tell you something, as much as I love kids, I would have been stuck with some kids by this dude who abandoned me. And I would have been pissed, okay? And let me tell you something. I love kids, and I can tell you, I would love my children, okay? Even if it had been with him, I would have still loved my children, because my children didn't ask to be born, okay? Even if their daddy was a crazy fuck. My kids would not have asked to come into that. And they're my kids. I would love them regardless of who their father was. Just because their father is a fuck doesn't mean they are. And they were wanted babies. They would have been very wanted babies. So, yes, I would have loved my kids regardless. And I would never, ever, ever in my life give up my children if I'd had them. But, I can tell you, knowing my ex-husband, I would have been stuck with these kids. And I would have been up shit creek, as the old folks like to say. I'd have been up shit creek without a paddle. And there would have been no way that I would have been able to take care of myself and my children. So, yeah, I can tell you that it was probably a good thing that I didn't have kids. It is a very good thing that I didn't have children with him. Because he would have screwed me over. More so than he already did. And I can tell you his first ex-wife has a child by him. He loves to pretend like he was told that that child wasn't his, but the child is his. And so, that child is his. Everything he says is suspect and is a lie probably, so yeah, it's probably his child. She just chooses not to press charges against him anymore because, well, the likelihood of you getting your money is probably 0. She and I have talked about it, and I told her, I said, let me tell you what he told me. And she was like, that's a lie. And I was like, I know. I realize now that's probably a lie. But you believe in somebody when, you think they're telling you the truth. So, yeah, she and I figure, and I told her, I said, let me tell you something. The likelihood of you getting your money is about 0. And seeing as though that child doesn't know him and thinks of your now husband as his father, yeah. Yeah. You might as well just don't even bother, because you be making more problems for yourself than what you need. So don't even begin to fool with that, because you're not gonna get the outcome you want. So, but she and I talked about it, and I told her, I said, the one good thing that came out of your marriage to him was that child. Nothing good came of my marriage to him. So please don't feel like I, am jealous or anything, because I'm not. If anything, I'm glad I didn't have kids. So, and I don't know, kids are probably not in my future. I'm old now. I'm 32, and that is prime baby making age. I mean, now would be great for me to make kids and start a family and have one, but I don't think that that's going to be in my future at all. As much as I would love to have children, and I would love babies. I would. I love babies. I absolutely love little children. And I even love the bigger ones when they get a little older and, they can communicate. I like kids, but I love babies. I do. I love babies. But, I'm just not, I'm pretty sure that it's not in the cards for me, so to speak. My boyfriend is 35, so yeah, if I'm gonna settle down with him, yeah, kids are not happening for him. Look, I can barely, as you can see, I can barely get him to talk about marriage, let alone like kids or anything. And he would be too old by the time we had kids. So, like, say we got married in the next 2 or 3 years, I would then be 35 and he would be 38. Yeah, that's a no. I think he would make an excellent father. Because he would be devoted to his kids. Oh my God. He would be devoted to the point where I would be like, can you focus on me just a little bit more? Because I am still here, by the way. So, yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, yeah, you would be overly devoted to your kids. And you'd spoil them. So, he spoils me now, and so I know he would spoil kids, and he loves children. He loves kids. So, yeah. But I mean, he's already said that he didn't think that he would want to get married or even have children, and I was like, that's probably a good idea. If you don't feel like you want to do that, then don't push it. Like, don't rush that for yourself, because then you're going to feel resentment later. Probably. So, yeah, I mean, other than what yesterday was, not too much going on with me. I was happy that I was doing better, and I was, not depressed and not, like, angry and stuff to the point where, there would be wanton destruction and loss of life and property. So, and that means that's a clear-cut sign for me that I am getting over it and recovering, and I guess healing a lot more than I thought I would be, because it could be worse. It could be much worse. I could still be depressed about it and angry and, just freaking out, and I'm not. Also, it does not hurt that I am in a relationship with someone else that I've known a really long time, who was there before all of this happened and knows when I'm feeling out of it and depressed and angry and stuff, about things. He knows exactly why it is I feel that way, and tends to let me have my space. I mean, he's there, and he is an excellent shoulder for me to lean on, but he tends to let me have my space and let me work through it myself and come to conclusions on my own without pushing me to get over it and not be angry about it and not feel it. He lets me work through my emotions, basically, and he's there to listen, and that's what I need. I don't need someone who's constantly going to be behind me and be like, get over it. Get over it. Did I mention you need to get over it? Yeah, I don't need that. And that would be detrimental, completely detrimental to me getting better and feeling okay about things. So, um, otherwise, I'm okay. And that's all I can really ask for. So, I guess I'm gonna wrap this up. I really just wanted to touch base and talk about what was going on with me since I got back into town, and I got back to Burlington, and when I got, you know, got my stuff straight and got in the house and stuff. I don't know when I'm going back to Columbia. I don't. I really don't know. Um, I had a good time when I was there, and me and Brandon spent time together, and it was lovely, and it was quite lovely. We did a couple things. We stayed together a couple of nights. I guess I will get into later what happened with his mom. That was a situation that I was really, really not wanting to deal with. And it kind of came up after I made the last episode. It came up, well, it kind of came up before that. It kind of came up before that, but really came up into play after that, too. And I was like, seriously? Yeah, that's some bullshit. So I guess I can kind of get into it. Okay, the short version is apparently she asked, despite me sitting down and having this conversation with her, which I have talked about on camera a couple of episodes ago in the summertime. It was like August or so. I sat down with her and had a conversation, and I spelled out my intentions. Like from the beginning, I was like, look, I was divorced. I don't see myself getting married again, but that's completely up to him. If he decides that he wants to get married, he changes his mind and he wants to get married, I have no problem with that. Like, I have zero problem with that. It will be some time from now, but, you know, like, I'm not going to be mad if he decides he doesn't want to get married, okay? So, despite having this conversation with her, apparently, she told him that, she asked him, they went out to dinner a couple of days ago, maybe like a week ago or so. And apparently she asked him while they were at dinner, if he was thinking about marriage. And instead of directly asking him if he and I were sleeping together, she kind of danced around the subject and would not ask him directly. And I'm like, we're too old for this, okay? Let me go on and put this out there. We are far too old for this. He is 35 and I'm 32. This is ridiculous. Seriously? Like, if you want to know the answer to a question, just ask. Just ask. All she had to do was ask me right then, and I would have told her, no, we weren't sleeping together at the point that when she and I sat down and had a talk. No, we weren't sleeping together, but shortly thereafter, we did. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and lie on camera. I'm an adult. I'm an adult who's been married once before. Come on now. Of course I'm sexually active. Like, I'm not going to lie about that. I am sexually active. So is he. He's a 35-year-old man. Like, come on now. That's called, you didn't want to ask that question because you didn't want to know the answer to it. But you wanted to find out, y'all, with a little bit of subterfuge and shit. And so, he himself said, if she really wanted to know the answer to that question, she could have just asked. She should have asked me directly, and then I would have given her a direct answer. Like, I mean, seriously. And then on top of that, he was like, it's not really any of her business to start with. Because it's not. Now, look, I got no problem with parents asking things and wanting to know what's what. But at least have enough balls to ask. Like, my parents, and my mama was the one who made the statement to me the other day. Okay. My mother knows quite well that I am sexually active. I mean, she herself was like, you've been married before. You've been married before, and you were like 32. Seriously? Yeah. So, she was like, no parent really wants to know whether or not their child is having sex or not. Okay. You just kind of have to assume that they are because they are of a certain age and they're healthy and okay with this kind of thing. Okay. So my mom and dad are just like, yeah, we don't want to know what you're doing. We just assume that the two of you are in fact sleeping together. Also, what really bothered me, and I wasn't sure if she knew this. This is what I was trying to figure out when I was talking to him, and he was telling me this. Apparently, she didn't know if we were spending. She knew that we were spending time together, but I don't think that she knew that we were spending the night together, which we have now for about 4 or 5 months. I take that back. It's been about 3 or 4 months now. Okay. He also said that's really none of her business either. But that's what she was trying to fish, and she was trying to find out what the deal was there. And I'm like, if you want to know the answer to that question, just ask. I can tell you, yeah. We do spend the night together at his house. It's not at mine. Because my parents are more or less like, while we know what you're doing, no. There is not enough room for 4 people in this house. There's enough room for 2 and possibly a third, but not a 4th. So, and I would not feel comfortable having him there with my parents. So, yeah. I mean, they know him and they've seen him a million times and they know what our relationship is and they've seen our relationship unfold into something different than friendship. And my parents, like I said, my parents respect me as an adult and realize that not only do I take care of myself, I make adult decisions. So they don't care. They're like, you're grown. You're a grown adult woman. Why would we tell you what you're going to do and what you aren't going to do and who you're going to see and who you aren't going to see? Like, you're too adult for that. Like, no. So, my parents don't care enough about what's going on with themselves, let alone with what I'm doing. So, yeah. It's just a case of somebody running off at the mouth and instead of just asking a simple damn question, assume some shit. And then on top of that, what really made me mad with her was she apparently forgot that we had this conversation in August and made a statement to the effect that basically questioned my motives and intentions toward her son. And I was like, see, this is where I get angry. And this is why I didn't want to have to deal with another set of in-laws. This is why exactly. And I didn't come out and tell Brandon this, but I do not want to deal with another set of in-laws because of this reason right here. I do not want to deal with that. I do not have the patience nor the time or the inclination to deal with prying people who can't be bothered to ask questions and then make assumptions based on some shit they think they know, okay? Second of all, do not sit up here and have me talking to you and explaining what's going on with me when I don't have to start with. I really don't have to, but I'm just being nice and telling you what's going on and being upfront. And then you damn forget the damn conversation we had and then accuse me basically of doing some untoward shit. Now, I understand you care about your child. You do care about what's going on with them. You want to make sure that somebody is not taking advantage of them and hurting them in any way, shape, or form. I get that. I completely get that shit, okay? But do not, do not accuse me of some shit after I have bothered to sit down and talk to you and tell you what's going on. Don't do that shit. Because that's really going to make me not like you. Okay? And it's really going to make me not ever talk to you again. So, whatever relationship we may have begun to have as in-laws, yeah, that shit's already on the rocks to start with. And this is why I didn't want to do this shit. That is exactly why I didn't want to sit down and talk to her in the first place. I really didn't. That's why I didn't want to meet his parents. I didn't want to meet, because I'd already met his mother, but I didn't want to meet his father. I didn't want to meet his cousins. I didn't want to meet his whatever. I don't want to meet people. And I don't want to sit down and talk to people because his cousin has already made an ass of himself and has managed to piss me off. So when I actually do meet the dude, I'm already going to be looking at him like, I'm going to need you to have a couple of seats, you fuckhead. I'm already not going to be nice when I meet this cousin, this one particular cousin that like to talk too much. Because that's what I'm going to tell him. You talk too damn much. Sit your ass down. You don't even know what the shit's going on, and yet you up here making assumptions about somebody that you don't even know. You's a fuck. Go sit down. Go have a couple of seats. I mean, like, I can't stand that shit. So, yeah, I'm really not looking forward to seeing his mother again, because that's just not going to work well already. I can tell y'all right now, this ain't going to end well. I already have about zero patience to deal with that shit to start with. And I really have no patience to deal with bullshitting. I'm too old for this. And I've already been through it once before. And I have told him to his face, I was like, look, I do not want to deal with this shit. You better fix it. You better fix it. Because I do not feel like dealing with this. You better tell her straight up. And I told him, you can tell her I said, I do not appreciate that shit. If you want to know some shit, ask me yourself. Okay? And don't sit up here and make assumptions, and then because your ass forgot that you even talked to me about the shit in the first place. Oh my God. So, let me tell y'all, I'm already aggravated. Already. Me and my in-laws are not going to get along. I can tell y'all that right now. So, I'll be alright though. I'll be alright. But yeah, that's the short version of what went down while I was there. Oh, and then while I was there, she then calls him and is like, at the very last minute, is like, oh, I need you to go to Charleston with me in the morning to do something with his cousin that has special needs. And she calls him at the last minute to ask him this. And we had already had plans. I was just going to stay the night, that last night that I was there, and then get on the road and come back to Burlington in the morning. So she calls him at the last minute and is like, I need you to come stay the night with me, and then we're going to go. And he was like, that was quite last minute of her. What in the world? And I was like, you could have just told her that you already had plans and that you would see her in the morning. Like, I don't understand how this is hard. Yeah. So apparently it worked on his nerves, and he called her back and was like, I'm going to stay where I am this evening. I have plans already, and I will see you in the morning. And I gathered that she was more or less, and see, that's how she realized that I was probably staying there that night. I don't know how the rest of that conversation went, but I assumed that somebody was like, you got that girl over there, don't you? I bet you got that girl. You spending time with that girl, ain't you? Yeah, it was just really, it was really obnoxious. I just was like, what in the world? How you gonna call somebody and tell them that you need them to come stay the night with you? Maybe they may have had plans. It was the assumption that he didn't have plans or anything else to do that really, really worked on my nerves. It wasn't even the fact that she wanted him to come over there. It was the fact that it was assumed that he didn't have anything else to do. So, like, just completely disregarded the fact that I was spending time with him. Like, and apparently she didn't realize that we were still spending time together. Like, I was going to be there for a couple of days. Because he told her I was going to be there, that I was in town, and that I saw my friends and my other friends and family and stuff, and that I did come to see him and spend time with him. But the implication that, you know, I must be doing something horrible with him right now, which I wasn't, kind of really worked on my nerves. So, he in fact did see her the next day, and that was alright, I guess. I made sure he got up on time and that he got where he needed to go. And then I got on the road to come back to Burlington. I don't like when people make assumptions and stuff. And I don't like busybodies, okay? I really don't. I understand that's the man mama and all, and she has a right to be concerned about what goes on with him. I get that part. I do. But I do not like busybodies at all. God. So, alright, I'm gonna go. I'll do another episode later. I don't know when. but I will. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, and see you next episode. Deuces.